previous video, we have a shorter understanding about evolution of the macroeconomic theories. So, especially we understand that nowadays the major economic theory guiding the government making the policy is Keynes theory. So in this video, we will look at so if the economy has problem, which is what we discussed is inherently stable ability. So what kind of government intervention can have so that the government can, if the economy is not good, they can help to pull the economy up when the economy is too hot and to cool down the economy. And also we will look at for the business cycle how many stage the economy will experience and how we identify which stage the one country the economy is in. So first of all, let's talk about the Keynes proposed government intervention when the economy is not working well. We call it underperforming. So when the economy is not working well, just like 1929 and 1933, that manufacturing, they're producing the product, but they cannot sell the price to cover the costs. So economy is growing slow, and we have so many frustrated workers, so they don't want to find a job because the wage is so low. So if that's the case, what happened? So I remember read a lot of story talking about in 1929, 1933 is like the milk producer, they produce the milk since they cannot sell the good price, and they even dump the milk in the river, so they call it white river. So obviously that's not good. So how the government can intervene in those scenarios to pull the economy up? So what they can do is buy more output. Like many agriculture experience that when they have natural when they don't have enough demand, and to help the farmer, government sometimes will buy their product, so buy more output, and they will try to employ more people, start like a new project for the government, building the road, etc., or provide more income transfers and make more money available. So income transfer means they can reduce the tax. That's what exactly happening right after our new president become running the country, so he reduced the tax. And so this is the one way to boost the economy when the economy is underperforming. And well, how about the opposite scenario? So when the economy is overheated, and so Keynes proposed what we should do is higher taxes, so impose higher tax or raise the interest rate. That's what we recently experienced. The Federal Reserve Bank increase the interest rate to try to cool down the economy, because when the interest rate goes up, then more people are more likely to put money in the bank, and also less likely to borrow money because all other loan interest is tagged on the Federal Reserve's interest rate. And also what government can also do is to reduce availability of the money. And so those are the three possible tools to cool down the economy. So this is about the tool the government can use when the economy is inherently unstable. And so next we will look at, since we talk about the business cycle, so how many stage an economy will experience? So how many stage are consist of a business cycle? So you can see in this chart, and again, it should remind you the roller coaster I showed you at the beginning of this chapter. So it looks like a roller coaster, but we do give different name at a different stage. So generally speaking, when we talk about business cycle, we have 4 different stage. The first is called the peak. So where the GDP maximized. So you can see on this chart, we have 3 peaks, which all relocate on the top of the hill. And then the second stage called the recession. So where is the GDP declines? So keep in mind, recession is not Great Depression. So recession is not Great Depression. We will distinguish them later. So the recession is pretty normal. It's where GDP is declining. So if we try to look at the charts, so here will be considered as recession. Here is another recession. And here will be another recession. So it's pretty normal. So right after peak, we will see the recession. So that seems like you cannot be happy every day. So usually you're happy, and the next day your mood will go down. So the same thing for the business, for the economy. When it reaches to the peak, that means it will start to go down. So this is the second stage. And the third stage we don't call it the bottom of the economy. We actually call it the trough. So you can see the trough is where the GDP minimized. On the chart, we can see the 3 trough. So after trough, you should know economy will start going back because the trough is the minimum value for the GDP. So after trough, economy will start to goes up. So then we call it recovery. So where GDP start to grow or where GDP increases. So on the chart, we can see 2 recovery, 1 and 2. And so we have 4 stages. So generally speaking, when we talk about economic growth, we actually talk about real GDP growth faster than 3%, or we also call it expansion. And when we call the growth recession is real GDP growth, but slower than 3%. So the economy expands too slow. And for the recession, we see on the chart is real GDP contract for 2 or more consecutive quarters, which means we all know always call recession is when 2 or more consecutive quarters happening. We saw the GDP keep going down, then we will call it recession. And for the depression, we talked about before in 1929 and 1933, we call the Great Depression. It is not just a simple recession. Actually, it's an extremely deep recession. It's going down and it's going very greatly, and so we will call it a depression. So based on the level of the growth and the decrease, we have different definition: economic growth, recession, and depression. They are totally different concepts. So in next video, we will look at during our American history, what kind of business cycle we experienced.